Welcome back to 33-year-old boomer ranting in the woods. Today I want you to consider the following. What matters is what is useful, not what is true. So, much like probably many of you watching right now, I used to be quite nihilistic, quite edgy. Ooh, nothing matters, bro. Ooh. I was never pessimistic about it, but I always had a very almost fatalistic attitude towards the nihilistic nature of reality. This was brought on by a few things. Shows were a factor. Rick and Morty comes to mind. Oh, jeez, Rick. You have to ask yourself. Now, if you're big-brained and introspective, which if you're watching this, you probably are, ask yourself, do the people who make these shows have your best interest at heart? And I think you'll find that they are far more interested in having millions of dollars in mansions than in making sure that you have your head screwed on straight. The older you get, and I'm in my 30s, so I should know, very old. The older you get, the more you realize that what you believe and how that helps you and how that makes your life easier is far more valuable than any truth. Now, I don't know if nihilism is the truth. Instinctively, I still believe to some degree that yes, nothing truly matters. However, how does that serve me? How does believing that nothing matters actually serve you? And the answer is that it doesn't. The older you get, the more you realize that having a good life is more about cope. It's about, like when you think, is God real? Are the gods real? Is reincarnation real? Am I going to live for 2,000 years like Brian Johnson says? I don't know. I hope I have the option to live for that long. I want to learn stuff. I want to do all the cringe stuff like colonize planets. And, I'm a big fan of science fiction. I get it. I totally get it. However, I don't really care if that's true or not. What I do care about is the fact that believing that that's possible will improve my quality of life. Now, if it happens to be true, if I happen to have the option to live for 2,000 years and have my own spaceship and build a cabin in the woods on Glorgnarg 5, the paradise planet, if that happens, that'd be pretty cool. But believing that it won't happen won't serve you in any way. So, for example, I used to be full-on edgy atheist, full-on r/atheism. And some people find different religions. I'm a big fan of nature. I like trees and stuff. And so I have these cringe spiritual beliefs. For example, I believe that my body is a vessel which has been inhabited by a spirit that has been here multiple times before. The spirit of one of my ancestors who, over time, as they had children, the spirit was passed on over and over until it arrived at me. And then when I have kids, my spirit will pass on to some of them. Now, you might say, oh, this is cope, this is just pagan cringe. And I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if it's cope. I don't think it matters if it's not real. Because my goal isn't to have a perfect mental model of the world in my head. My goal is to live a good life. And guess what? If you believe that you will come back to this place, you're going to want to leave it in pretty good condition, right? If I believe that in a few centuries, my body or my spirit will exist in the body of one of my ancestors, and they'll walk around these trees, it's in my best interest to make sure that nature is intact and that forests still exist and that this place doesn't get demolished to build a Chuck E. Cheese. And so the belief itself is more important than whether it's true or not. Nihilism is a trap. precisely because it relegates you to apathy. I know some big words. I went to school. I know words. Now, what is the antidote to this? The antidote to the apathy that you likely feel is to improve a little bit every single day, to make your life better in some measurable way. This means learning something. This means seeing something beautiful. I mean, heck, I'm in a small forest right now. I'm in a woodland. This is beautiful. I'm recording a video, which is going to get me views and Lambos. Even if I wasn't doing something productive, even if I was just hugging trees, my brain right now is creating hella snapshots, as the cool kids say nowadays. It's building a model of what my day looked like. And, 70 years from now, when I'm 103, I'll look back on this and I'll go, hey, that was a pretty beautiful day. That was pretty nice. There was some trees around. You were wearing a nice snug hoodie. And so my life has improved just by doing this. Go hug your family. Go for a hike. Choose to do something every single day. And learning, if you're talking about future stuff, learning is probably the best thing you can do. Just turn off Skyrim for a minute. Turn off Factorio for a second. And just spend half an hour today learning something. Anything. I'm working on a video on regex right now. Is there any commercial application to you getting regex or getting a job? Maybe, maybe not. Who cares? Computers are interesting. Why would you not want to know how regex works? And so maybe stick around, subscribe, and you'll see the video when it comes out. If you spend 30 minutes learning anything, within a month, you would have spent 15 hours improving at something. Do you have any idea how much better you'd be at something if you spent 15 hours? God's forbid that you spend an hour a day or longer on something. You would get so cracked at whatever you pursued, it would be incredible, and it would change your life in immeasurable ways. And so stop being an apathetic cringe lord. Stop believing that nihilism is the answer. And hey, maybe nihilism is the truth. But guess what? It's sure not going to save you.